game number 2 set to get underway. Secret taking game 1, but it was a tough one. It was close. It was a sweater. Never knew who was going to win until
for more of it, I thought Polar was going to win. I thought Secret had a good start, but that was like the first 10-15 minutes of the game. When the Axe blink comes up, that's when you find out who's going to win. And it really looked like it was Polar who were going to take it.
That was the most impressive thing. You mentioned it in that game, was that they all came online at the same time, but it was the way they executed when they came online. It was like they knew, okay, we have these core items, we have these ultimates, let's go. And they just took tower after tower, fight after fight, and then once that edge started to dissipate a little bit, that's when Secret really started to strike. And the Orchid on S4's Queen of Pain was definitely a key playmaker.
2 or 3 fights where Axe got silence was
it was huge. Definitely important. So looking at game number 2, we'll definitely see familiar faces here. ASUS.Polar, they lost to the Troll last game and said, well, maybe we should play it this go around. They'll first pick it. Secret taking something similar though. Lion, Queen of Pain. Probably S4 on the quad, but as we've talked about, it could be Zai. A lot of flexibility.
The puppy bans, the Chen Enigma taken out, the Night Stalker Sniper ban out from Secret, and no one going for the Wisp. Hero that Polar don't run all that much. Team Secret, no tells left, run it minimum. Like they can run it, that's for sure, but it's not really a go-to of theirs. Maybe something that both the teams consider in that second pick stage is the
Radiance ban.
Interesting to see it make it all the way through.
Imagine Secret are going to ban maybe some of those FNG heroes like the Treant Protector. They start with the Lena for now.
FNG Wisp, I think, is up there with Big Daddy Wisp. That's the big one that always gets talked about. But FNG has had some incredible games. I remember the last season of Star Ladder, he was like 7-1 on that patch with Wisp, something like that. 8-1. Had a pretty successful competitive history. So it would be, I think, a little scary to leave the ban. If Puppy doesn't ban it here, they've got to have something up their sleeve lingering. I mean, you can always take a Disruptor. He's still
PA ban. That's
and it is a hero that RTZ does play.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
It's a hero, Secret will pick, but it makes me wonder if ASUS.Polar have something in mind, because it's not like a huge counter pick to the Troll or the Axe. I mean, at some point you do force like a Troll to go an MKB, and when your PA starts getting some time, you can fight those heroes to some extent head on. Doesn't particularly strike me as like an obvious go-to pick for Secret in the second stage.
Yeah, that's definitely fair enough. Is there anyone that PA really counteracts, or a hero that they're thinking, there's no way we can play against PA if we pick X? That's why it seems strange to me. If it's not really a respect ban and not really a counter pick, like RNG, but like they got enough of that with the Troll last game, so they'll just keep it steady with the bashes on their side. Secret ban out the Bristleback, so that does limit one of the scary Wisp partners. Maybe they'll take the Wisp for the...
Seen the Kuro Wisp in the past be a pretty potent hero player combination. Not something they go to right away at the start of the draft. They're the ones who are going to pick the Treant.
Okay.
The Puppy says, I'll take the Treant. ASUS.Polar though, Drow
Visage maybe.
Yeah, the Lil Visage is very, very strong.
We talked about that during our draft. I've got Lil in my fantasy league, so let's see that Visage, boys. Come on. Looking for that high KDA, but...
How'd your fantasy league do in game 1, do you think?
I think okay. I mean, I took 3 Secret players, so anytime Secret wins, I think that's good for my fantasy league. Arteezy was my shot caller.
I think you had Zai, who didn't do so he had like a pretty bad
I've got the 3 cores on Secret. I think it was okay. It was a little bit lukewarm. Illidan didn't really have a great score.
Fantasy leagues are so funny for Dota because performance is not tied to your KDA. Like Zai made some clutch plays. He cancelled a Requiem in that last fight at bottom lane.
Those sick hook shots do not get counted for anything. He at least serves some kind of a bonus for that.
Assist, but he was like 2-7 or something at the end of that game. It's like, oh, poor Zai.
Poor Zai indeed. Could be a decent game for Dro Visage. I feel like that strategy has really fallen off, though. We don't see many teams draft it. ASUS.Polar was one team that ran it. Them and Cloud9, those are the two that I think of that really liked that strategy more than most other teams who kind of run it on occasion. When it was really hot, they would do it kind of any time that the heroes weren't banned out. So, something they know well.
And PA not bad against the Drow's Fires, where you can like blink in and kind of close the gap and get rid of that marksmanship with relative ease. So that makes the PA ban makes a bit more sense now when we see the Ranger come.
Yeah, that's...
Polar's still yet to pick up any support. So we mentioned the Visage, that's going to be probably their 4-position support, which sometimes turns into a 2-position hero. and then they need that.
Something
hard
like an Ancient
support.
Apparition could be okay, not bad against the...
Yeah, well, idea. Storm for Secret, though.
Dire team
Okay. No hesitation
Radiance
from
ban.
there. But Secret thought about this. I'm sure anticipating that it would probably be a Dro Visage. Storm, a great hero in this kind of scenario. Storm and Quap can close the gap on the Dro, jump on top of her. One of them's going to get an Orchid. I don't know which one, but somebody is going to be ready to jump in on that Dro Ranger and make her life. At the very least, get rid of that marksman.
5
And you can play that
seconds
kind of
remain.
split push style. We saw a lot of it last time when Polar grouped up as 5 trying to take towers, or Techies was on the other side of the map, pressuring
Dire's
a tier 3
ban.
tower, pressuring a Rax. Like, he got a Rax when they went for that top lane. He took the melee Rax and they just lost the range Rax in exchange. So that's going to be a similar thing to what we'll see here from Team Secret, I think. There's less physical damage to pressure the high ground, but they can always keep lanes pushed out using Storm and Queen of Pain really well.
Only 10
And
seconds.
something that they will fall back on. Play like that kind of Cloud9-esque type of play. But
5 seconds.
Secret
Hurry,
falls back to
hurry.
that a lot as well themselves.
Ban from Secret.
Reserve time.
As good as any. There's quite a few support. Venge, Ancient Apparition, Rubik, Skywrath Mage.
Gareth is pretty good. Silence and burst damage for the Storm. It synergizes nicely with the Axe Blink Call. Could be option here. They're always gonna, if they're worried about split push, the Blink Call needs follow-up damage to punish the split. Troll Drow are going to be off pushing or farming. They don't. I mean, Troll could go for a Blink Dagger and be follow-up, but having someone like a Skywrath Mage who Axe trying to gank is maybe.
ASUS.Polar, they're thinking about this final ban quite a bit. It's a tricky one. I imagine looking for the Arteezy.
Yeah, probably a Queen of Pain offlane. Every now and then they could do like a Queen of Pain Storm with one in the safe lane, the other mid. So it could be a Zai hero, but Zai did play that offlane Queen of Pain.
Yeah, the offlane Quap feels a little more tried and true. Safe lane Storm, I think, can be really good, but not a go-to. More of a niche type thing. It seems to be something that teams do when there's more of a real carry mid, something like a Shadow Fiend or something like that, which Shadow Fiend is still in the pool here. So maybe something secret. Broodmother will be banned out from ASUS.Polar. I think this is a smart ban.
If they want a Zai hero for the last pick, it needs to be at least a semi. Like, they can't pick like a Clockwork last. At least I don't think so. I think Storm and Queen of Pain don't give them enough damage in the late game.
I think they need another carry to go with the Storm, who
like
scales really well.
They could get an offlane for Zai if they want to do a safe lane Storm, but it'd need to be like a Prophet or something. Really get some good damage as well. Brood would have been an okay option.
Dire team are now picking.
I love how it was just silence.
Let's pull up the chat. Let's not freak out. Yep,
yeah,
yep,
no.
okay.
That's real.
This is real.
Secret
are actually playing Techies in a competitive best of 5. We're qualifying for a LAN.
boys.
This is not a group stage throwaway. No one gives a shit. This
is serious business.
I guess being up 1-0 in a best of 5 series is a
10
time to do
seconds
something
to pick.
clowny like this, but
5 seconds. Hurry, hurry.
Okay, I'm excited. This is something new and fresh.
So
Reserve
I think
time.
they're gonna lane this though. I think this is gonna be like a Waga style lane Techies where he's gonna get a lot of farm.
Zai plays this in the play/practice this in the offlane.
He'll farm with the mines. This isn't gonna be that kind of like, okay, let's put some mines on the runes. Let's hope somebody walks into it. This is going to be lane Techies. He'll get a lot of experience. He'll probably rush an Ags. There's that Skywrath Mage final choice. Or FNG. Quickly turn to Twitter. Talk about the Techies.
This is it. You're watching the wrong stream if you're not here. This is the Secret Techies in the best of 5 finals.
I just can't. Exactly. I can't believe this. It's not elimination. It's winter bracket finals. So there is actually a good bit of buffer here for Secret, but I'm still just in shock.
Well, this will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. They got the Skywrath Mage last pick. We talked about this being a good last pick for ASUS.Polar. I don't even want to talk about the ASUS.Polar heroes. I'm much more hyped for what we're seeing.
I don't even care what ASUS.Polar picked. Let's just talk about Techies.
They got a Meepo. Who cares? There's a Techies in the game.
10 seconds to pick.
Well, this is going to be some fun. They've done this once or
5
twice before here and there. They
remain.
won with it against Cloud9 back at DAC. Definitely not because of the Techies pick. Oh boy.
Yeah, I remember that game. Yes, that was not a Techies victory.
Oh, look at this. The TPs come out immediately from Skywrath Mage top. He's
everyone
scouting out the
ready?
Techies saying, where are you mining? Where are these mines going? but it's not
Show
top lane.
mercy, please. FNG, he's all, look at this. Zai gets his first mine down. Just gonna follow the Techies for now. Got the Arcana, the little piglets. Look at them. I don't understand why they turn into pigs, though. That is one thing I never got. They don't look like pigs when they're normal. You get the Arcana, and they go in full pig mode.
I get really, yeah, I don't like this Arcana. I'm by it half the time.
I
There's
really-
weird, when I'm playing against it, there's these like weird like pop-ups that show up on my screen too. I don't get what those are. Like this hero kind of weirds me out when you get the pig mode going.
Yeah, it's a weird Arcana, but I do like it. Let's take a look at some of Zai's stats here. How many practiced hand? Maybe he just got gifted the Arcana.
Maybe
7 suicide kills.
Does it?
3 landmine kills.
Look, it doesn't. He doesn't practice on his main account. Maybe a lot of the pros
Okay.
actually have like old accounts where they play matchmaking with when they're
so
practicing
that they
a
can
hero.
hide and people don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
If you want to like,
This is a staggeringly low amount of
Yeah.
3 landmine kills.
I think it was like I remember Universe or someone talking about when Universe was practicing Brood and wanting to like play tons of Brood games. He didn't stream it and he didn't do it on his main account. So other competitive pro players didn't know he was suddenly
that
like
does make sense.
a big Brood player. Like
Yeah.
it's trying to get that competitive advantage. So if Secret were trying to introduce Techies in their lineup, I imagine Zai was doing so.
Well,
True to the team name.
looks like Secret got the memo that today is April Fool. Out boot first Techies. Headed to the offlane. Artor having lag. Gonna pull up the brackets here. There is some concern about looking at where the mines may be. West of their manager, I will go to a static screen here. Face gods.
Up to you, man. Probably viewers want. I think they've looked at it. That's enough.
We'll look at the bracket. Wow, look at this here bracket. Team Secret ASUS.Polar is where we're at. Cloud9 will be facing the loser of this for the lower bracket finals, best of 5. And that is tomorrow, right? That is the final best of 5 for Europe.
Best of 5 tomorrow. I think it's at 17:30 CST. So we'll know one team today, one team tomorrow, and then probably redemption vote. At least historically, has gone to a European team. That seems to be where a lot of the viewership and the fans are voting for. But it could be different this time around. I don't know who else. If it's not a European team, it would maybe be like another Chinese team if there's a bunch of compendiums sold in China.
Vote.
America doesn't like after EG's gonna win in theory.
There just isn't a big enough brand in America outside of EG to pull that many votes. That's the big. That's really where the branding comes in, because it's not just having a high-skilled team, but it's having the personalities that people really want to see on camera. Really want to see cast games and kind of their personalities out there. So I guess short list is the Alliance, Navi, Cloud9, Secret, whichever grouping of those, obviously.
If I would say if IG didn't qualify, because the Chinese qualifies, Vici gets a direct invite, and then there's like LGD, IG, as well as like eHome and one other big name I'm picking. Newbie. Let's say IG doesn't qualify and all the Chinese fans are like, we gotta have Burning as well as Ferrari and this new IG team at the summit. Let's get buying compendiums. Let's get them in. Let's vote them out. Vote the European teams out. I could see that happening, but I think more likely it's Europe.
I think it will only be the team that Burning is on. If a Chinese team is going to get redemption voted, he's got the star power to pull the votes.
I don't think Newbie could do it. LGD with Zhao Wei, I don't think that would
so
cut
defunct.
it. Yeah.
And it's also more an issue of numbers, though. If I recall correctly, last time there were not a huge amount of Chinese votes relative to Europe and North America in general. The real big core bulk of the votes came from the swing vote, as we've kind of called it, for Europe and North. I guess it's possible a Chinese team could make it, but I feel SEA, I don't know how likely it is to make it.
I think it's pretty low. I remember last time there was a big push, there was a few front page Reddit threads let's vote CSW into the vote, and then the actual there's a lot of Australians on Reddit, so they were probably all about
There's a lot of Australians on Reddit.
Yeah.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, that's
a
fact.
Disproportionately large amount of Australians?
Compared to the Dota, how many Dota 2 players there are.
Okay, so Aussies like Reddit. That's good to know.
Yeah. America, Reddit as a demographic is America, some of your English-speaking European countries, and then Australia, I feel, is up there as far as population goes. But I think it's going to be a very interesting redemption vote. Unlike last time, there was just two big front runners in Na'Vi and Cloud9, and it would have just been Na'Vi if not for the big campaign.
The great thing
Cloud9
about
did.
it is, like, last time Cloud9 really proved the power of campaigning. Or it seemed like Na'Vi thought, like, Na'Vi was winning initially, and it seemed like Dendy streamed. They kind of put in a half-assed effort, and to them it sort of seemed like that would be enough, just using star power. And Cloud9 showed that if you really go over the top, that you can grind votes in the compendium.
I never really talked to Na'Vi. I wonder if they thought they just had the redemption vote in the bag, or if they just didn't put more effort in because they didn't think they were going to win it.
I don't know. I wish I'd asked Devost about it when I chatted with him at All-Stars.
I think someone maybe mentioned that they just didn't think they were going to win it because Cloud9 had all the big name pros like Arteezy, No-Tail. They were all like supporting the Cloud9 campaign.
Yeah, I remember at
and Na'Vi back then were
Starladder. Was the Starladder 11? The first Starladder land that I went to. I remember.
I think 10.
Was that 10?
Probably. Starladder 11 was the most recent one. You've been to 2 now.
Yeah,
so
10. Okay, yeah, you're right. So Starladder 10. I remember talking to Havost and FNG when we went out for dinner on like the Saturday night, and they were both very confused about how it worked. So LD and I explained like, no, it's just people just vote and that's it. The basic lowdown, and instantly both of them said, we're not going to win. We lost. They're like, oh, it's going to go to Secret or it's going to go to Cloud9. They seemed very cynical. So I don't know. I don't know if that was just the in the moment, like, we just lost Starladder.
They've been to enough events where they've seen the queues to get Dendy's autograph. We saw it in Malaysia where it went like around the building. I go over to do a signing and like my queue struggles to get outside of this little tent that we're in. Like,
and Dendy, it's just like to drop everything you have, get in the line. I will trade you my firstborn for a spot in line. It was crazy. So I'm excited. NIP have told me now that they've been eliminated, they're planning on campaigning pretty hard. They're at least going to have a go at it. I don't know how big their brand is. Maybe they can leverage that CSGO brand a little bit. I don't know.
It's one of those things, like, even if you make a go at it and you don't win it, it's still really good for your players. Like, like let's say Cloud9 last time hadn't won the redemption vote. They still produced some awesome stuff, which the Dota 2 community loved. It helped their players become more popular. Why not give it a go? No?
Yeah,
why not?
Absolutely.
But this time around, like, I really don't even, like, between Alliance, Na'Vi, NIP, Team Empire, you got the Empire Twitter guy. Can you even count out if Team Empire Twitter guy, like, brings his A game?
That's true, I didn't really think about that.
I remember at the start of the Summit 3 Europe, I was like, if Empire somehow don't qualify, they're winning the redemption vote. They've got the Twitter guy, but we'll see.
True. The Empire Twitter guy, though, he can get into that, what's the right way to put it? Sometimes when he goes really ham, he goes a little overboard. He's good most of the time, but there's that like 5 to 10% of the time where he reaches a little bit, or he makes questionable jokes on occasion. So it'd be interesting to see Empire really make a go at it and see Empire Twitter guy. So we are having some connection issues here. Looks like we may have a remake. Arteezy. Serious lag issues, I guess it is. Not sure exactly what. Put on your admin hat here, gods. Yeah, we're coming up on that 10-minute mark. We're not quite there yet, but it's coming up just a second. So patient here for at least the. But yeah, it's really heating up. It's exciting now that we're getting towards the tail end of Phase 2 for these regions, and
China hasn't begun too. That's the thing. Like this week we have America and Europe, 4 teams decide, but then we get that one last magical spot for China where there's a lot of teams who are pretty close.
What are the chances you think it'll be a team other than IG?
LGD, I think, are on par with IG.
Really? You think they're like dead even?
They're having back and forth series a lot. Maybe like 55-45 IG favored, but LGD.
I could buy that.
When Zhao first joined, was like it looked like IG were the best team, but the last week they've been playing in DCL a bit. It seems a lot more even between the 3 big IG, LG, VG.
All right. So. It seems like that region in particular is really hard to gauge the power of the teams because they're all very strong, but they take games off each other all the time. It's like LGD and IG know each other so well that they can constantly take games off one another. It's hard to wager which team is really stronger in a vacuum. More fun when you get to see them on that international stadium and they're fighting against teams that play in a different meta.
It's kind of different on the online matches too, because you put them in a LAN setting, that's where someone like Zhao, even with like his old LGD teams, they were never the most individually talented as far as like I mean, they were still really good players. I'm taking anything. They didn't have the star power, I guess, but they would still, back when they had like DD and DDC as their supporter, these aren't known as like your best supports in the world.
Kunkka Shadow Demon, that's what I think of when I see those two.
And then you had Yao playing like offlane or mid. Like he's a solid core player, but he's not considered a star. Even Zhao 8, as far as his individual play, was never considered a star. He was a star captain, but this is a team that made a huge run at TI2. They won various big LAN events in China. won their G Leagues and stuff, so he's just a player who makes teams work on land. You can never really count him out.
Okay, well, looks like teams are reconnected here. ASUS.Polar are ready to rock and roll. Just need the thumbs up from one Techies, and we got a G. So it looks like I think we're ready to get back into this game.
Just a reminder, Techies has been picked for those of you tuning into the stream. Zai unleashing his minds here. Get Scout in just a second here. As he's planted one, but if he goes down for a second, I think the Skywrath Mage will get some vision of this.
That's all we've seen. The Skywrath Mage did TP to the top tower just to try and figure out where the Techies may be. Got a ward down very quickly just to get that little bit of...
Just the one mine, though, is a decent chunk of damage if ASUS.Polar go for this top bounty rune. Then you've got the Treant Protector with a Leech Seed and S4 who can go for a Shadow Strike to maybe set a kill, especially if it's Lil walking in with 0 armor.
Yeah, that's a point worth reiterating, perhaps. They do physical damage.
They scout it. They
get a sentry ward down. That's one mine that'll be killed by the Visage. Live for now. It's in this kind of weird spot where it sort of gets hidden under the trees until you mouse over it properly.
I don't think the second one on the high ground is likely to be walked into. So bottom lane, it looks like our Techies is going to get the bounty run. Both bounty runs likely to go Secret's way. This is... I guess, hey, they maybe don't get any kills with the Techies and mines get dealt with, but...
That is one thing that the Techies always provides, is that second thought about going towards runes. Unless you have a sentry ward down and you can clearly see it's not mined up, even if he doesn't get kills, it makes space for your mid laner to find pretty much every rune he would ever want in your side lanes to come in. So it will be Queen of Pain and Storm Spirit getting the buffed up bounties here at 0-0. That's a great start for Secret.
And with the Techies, I'd go one step further. Not just going runes. You don't want to rotate through jungles. You don't want to move from lane to lane. Generally speaking, like when I'm playing against the Techies, I just stay in my lane. And if I want to go to another lane, I TP to the tower and then I follow the creeps. If the creeps are walking there, you're not running into landmines. As soon as you start rotating from lane to lane, through the river, through the jungle, that's when you put yourself in danger.
Sadoy getting harassed in the bottom lane, though the same goes for Zai here. Both off-laners. Bit of a rocky start, but Techies will be... He should be able to do just fine here. Once the creep's going to move into the tower, the mines do a lot of damage, so he will find at least some CS. I reckon Aghanim will be an item build he looks towards. Bottle could be an option. Yule's always a good item, pretty much on everyone. Great on Techies. You can do fun stuff with setting up stasis traps. If you get Ags and Yules, you can sit back and just chuck in those remote mines during fights. A lot of options here. More staff also a great item than the tried and true classics.
Yeah. I think a bit ahead of us. I think for stars, it's just the Tranquil Soaring. But from there, you can kind of figure out what the game's going to call for, whether you need to go through something a bit crazier. But yeah, Tranquil Soarings to get things going, and then from there, you see what's going to be needed.
Do you think the Tranquil Soul Ring is better than Bottle, or at least a go-to?
Maybe comparable.
Okay. So we'll see what Zai wants to do. Looking at the other lanes here. Ooh, get some big damage onto Lil. There you go. That's just one mine. See how much damage it does to the 0 starting armor Visage without any Gravekeeper's Cloak. Yeah, that hurts.
Okay.
So other lanes, what is it? Illidan on the drone, the mid lane against S4's Queen of Pain. Right now we've got Sadoy jungling. He was the off-lane Axe. FNG on the Skywrath. We've already seen Lil on the Visage. And G is that safe lane farmer on Troll. It is Arteezy on the safe lane Storm. You mentioned that as a possibility during the draft, and something that Secret will go for here. And it looks like he will have complete free farm, so this Storm Spirit should have pretty much anything he wants. Maybe that means he'll be more of the ideal Orchid carrier. That could open up for S4 to possibly Russian Aghanims or something like that.
Axe has already ventured away from the off lane. Doesn't want to give up any extra kills here. But a Treant Protector could get that value point in Leech Seed, and with a potential roam from Kuro, this is not a lane where Axe is likely to get much done. So he'll get the faster Blink Dagger just going straight into the jungle, but does give complete uncontested free farm to Storm, and also opens up the Secret supports to move around the map. We've seen Kuro make moves towards mid, Puppey can be stacking neutral camps, and they can just move around the map a lot more and just find out where they're most needed. No support needed for RTC.
Lane sees going the way of S4 right now, actually really going his way. 13-9 to the 6-4 Dro Ranger. This is a heads-up matchup, and S4 just completely dominating, a full level ahead of him. Now we'll see a rotation from Puppey. He'll get scouted out by FNG on the high ground. Illidan
gets a silence before the Leech Seed, but one right click from Puppey and a couple more from S4. That's going to be a deny! Skywrath Mage.
Nicely played by
denies the
FNG.
first blood as well. Not just a hero deny, but when it's first blood, that's a big chunk of gold that could have gone S4 as well.
Yeah, and with S4 already dominating that lane, getting the bonus gold on top of that really hurts. It's bad enough that the Drill Ranger has died and now gives S4 a little more space in the lane. Still not really good news for ASUS.Polar, but FNG making the best of an already kind of crummy situation. That is one of the drawbacks of the Queen of Pain. We've seen time and time again. The Shadow Strike allowing for the denies, even though it...
Coming up, and looks like Techies going to be camping around the top rune, but very if he's going to want to make a move down here with FNG.
One for now, FNG. Oh, is he going to get baited into this?
I'm watching that, I'm like, surely Skywrath doesn't fall for this. Like, you don't walk up ramps. That's like rule number 1, don't be careful about going for runes. Rule number 2, do not walk blindly up ramps.
You just need so much discipline to play against the Techies there. That one, I have to say, felt a little obvious. I think that one you really should know better. A low health Techies still auto-attacking you on low health. I wonder what could be lurking nearby.
You don't verse Techies as a competitive
That's what I mean. That's where that discipline comes in. It's like, you know that, but when you're in the heat of the moment, the temptation is there. Just, oh, I want to kill him. That's my first blood. You know, it makes it so much more tempting. Oh, that's painful. So, Zai, a slow start, but now he's talking about recovery halfway through level 2, and all of a sudden he's got Tranquil Boots in the beginnings of his Soul Ring.
Bottom tier on town now looks to be claimed here. Teasy with the last hit. Got a lot of farm on this Storm Spirit now with that tower gold.
Yeah, he certainly does. He has the last hit leader, keeping up blow for blow with the Troll. Now has the Soul Ring, and what's he picked up? Bloodstone. Okay, he goes for the bottle, so... Still ambiguous with the Soul Ring here. I feel like there's 2 ways they can do this. They can go Orchid on the Storm with an Ags on S4, or S4 can be the Orchid carry, then they just go Bloodstone on the Storm. Frankly, I'm not sure which one is better in this slot. Both have their merit.
Yeah, I'll see just for now. It looks like our TV is going to bottle out.
Puppy is in deep. What are you doing? He gets revealed. Sadoy hits him with Berserker's Call. All right, he'll be okay now. Looks like he's just baiting for S4 perhaps. Now weak seat onto Sadoy. They blow him up with that Sonic Wave. Puppy will die for this, but S4 might be able to find a double. FNG gets behind the tower. A Haste Rune on S4. Classic. 1 for 1.
Decides, yeah, bit lacking vision, or he could have chased down FNG there. Doesn't want to get kind of gusted into a tower or something, but see ASUS.Polar, what their next move's going to be. This is a Queen of Pain starting to gather some momentum. The Techies in the offlane has got some levels and is doing, but our Techies on Storm, regen room bottled up. He's level 7 and top of the net worth with the help of that tower gold.
As he well should be. Zai now, level 3. He does have his Soul Ring complete. Feeling a little bit more healthy. G doing standard stuff on the Troll Warlord. Nothing really too crazy happening at this point. Things are settling down from this Techies pick, and everyone just trying to find their initial bout of farm. I think Drill Ranger, the big weak link right now, not getting enough out of this mid lane.
Keep pressing the tier 2, and this is one thing that Polar just aren't really equipped to deal with. Having the split push, I just want to stay in the jungle. That's where he's getting the best farm possible. Towards his Blink Dagger, but someone at some point has to go bottom and stop Arteezy just pressuring the lane, getting free farm.
Let the fun begin.
It looks like that may be the axe here. Going to slow down his progression towards the Blink Dagger. What happened to the crew, by the way? Got sniped at some point. Dire side. Looks like that's what Puppy went for when he
maybe he
died there.
Maybe he did kill
I
and I missed it. Okay.
Okay.
I think that was it. I totally missed it. I was even looking at it though. Yeah. That's the part that makes But okay, so that's good. Makes it worth it. And then they traded 1 for 1 on top of that. So Axe will go back down bottom. Replay pushed up. He'll find some decent amount of farm. You know, it's amazing to just observe the reaction of Twitch chat, or FNG getting that first blood deny and then giving up the first blood in the rune, going the spam of FN God, you know, the oh my hero, my Lord and Savior, to the feeder terrible, kick him from the team, the knee-jerk gut reactions. Yeah, going from just he's the greatest player ever to how could you be that bad? I'm ashamed to cheer for you. I love the polarizing cheers. It's always comical to take a look at on the. Wow, Arteezy, man, there is just nothing slowing this guy down. Now he moves into the jungle. He's got 2,000 gold up. If he wants the Bloodstone, he could have it at an unbelievable timing.
Like that may be the item he's going to rush.
Closing in on that Soul Booster. Puppy being that mobile ward. He will get an Observer down, but FNG's right there with the Sentry. take it out. They're trying to find Puppy. Sedoy go for a gamble here. Puppy, though, very wise. Of course, knows that there's a counter ward there, so we'll stay on this side of the tree. Die now level 4. Looks like Yule's Scepter may be his next item. Already picked up the Soul Ring, grabs another Sage's Mask. And this is the point of the game where Techies gets a little more fun. You're not quite as mana-starved, and you can get down those landmines kind of as needed.
Get some good farm going as well, and the landmines to farm some of those. For now, the Polar side just going to be looking to sit back and kind of not really so much as control this game, but at least get their core items up. They've got the Drow Ranger, who's not really farming all too well, but at least getting just some basic stat items to get the bonus damage going for the rest of the team. And the other big thing is Lil's Vicious. This is a hero which they often like to prioritize a lot of farm on to get him online.
Still 0-0 and 0. Somewhat quiet this game, but now up top, G gonna get wrapped around on. Puppy comes in, Zai needs to be a little careful, baiting it out as Arteezy, the long-range zip comes flying through the whirling axes and keep G alive for now. TP coming in, does get canceled. Gank attempt from Secret will not yield a kill, at least not yet. S4 on his way in, but the Troll's already TP'd home.
Dire's top
Blood
tower
will be
is
shed
being
quite
attacked.
yet. Instead, Secret will just group up onto this
Radiant's
tower.
middle
This is
tower
another
is
thing that
being
Techies
attacked.
does very well. The landmines do physical damage that does hit towers. Boy, do they do a lot.
Dire's top tower is under siege.
Q1 tower going down with not much of a defense. Kuro bottom lane trying to take over this
have
lane. And
fortified their towers.
nice move from Arteezy just to move into the jungle and kind
Dire's
of
top
pressure
tower
fight with his
is
team,
being
because he can
attacked.
offer a lot even without any blink in the
Dire's
vortex.
top
Just
tower
a
has
nice
fallen.
movable hero and good ganker, whereas Kuro would like to get level 6 and also like to farm up his blink deck.
It's initiated on by FNG. Hits him with an Earth Spike. End of that little scuffle there. Meanwhile, in the mid, I thought they were going to pressure that tier 1, but Will doesn't really have too much pushing power yet. He is getting space to find his level 6. This is a big benchmark for the Visage, of course, getting those familiars onto the field, and now it
Radiant's
begins, or
bottom
at least
tower
opens up
under
some
fire.
options with Bro Ranger, who's still struggling to get her footing here. She picked up the casual Morbid Mask, still on brown boot.
Radiant's
That's
bottom
probably one
tower
of the
is being
scarier things. If
attacked.
she gets initiated on at all, she's going down. Speaking of going down, it's Lil here in the mid lane. S4 jumps on him.
In the Radiant jungle,
Drops the ult.
G's
Filling
Radiant's
axes will
bottom
be enough to
tower is
find
being
Kuro.
attacked.
Arteezy comes in, but can't really do much to reset things. S4 will blink out. Whole arsenal of ASUS.Polar venturing through. They will look towards the Roche pit with Lion in the grave, but Visage is down. He has familiars here. Roche will fall pretty quickly with the Troll and the Drow Ranger, the auras, plus the battle trance. This still feels a little risky.
We're going to see this game kind of play out very similar to last game, where ASUS.Polar, it's all about their mid-game time. The Axe Blink Dagger is always the item you're waiting for when you pick this hero. And again, it's going to come at a similar time when the other heroes on the team are ready to fight. Your Troll's got an Aegis, he's going to have just this basic phase, Helm of the Dominator, and probably a Yasha, which is that extra bit of movement speed you need. Your Visage has his level 6, maybe his level 7 for the max out Soul Assumption, so everything will come together at a pretty nice time for the Polar side, and then for Secret, it's all about kind of avoiding those clashes and split pushing the map and just not fighting into that strong 5-man, because Polar are going to do like last game, where they just 5-man try to take as many towers on the map as they can with this Aegis and with this Axe Blink deck.
Well, it seems they'll get aggressive sooner
Radiant's
rather than
bottom
later.
tower
Tier
under
1
fire.
tower down bottom. Axe about 5 gold away from his blink. He'll be able to pick it up on his way down. And tower will take some
Radiant's
pressure.
bottom
Illidan
tower is being
laying
attacked.
in the right clips. Living armor has him coming out left and right. It is level 3. Puppy just about to get overgrowth.
Radiant's
They'll let this
bottom
tower
tower
fall
is
without really
demolished.
much of a fight at all. Troll finding the last hit there. S4
Dire's
poking at
middle
the tier
tower
1 mid.
taking damage.
Low, there is a glyph for ASUS.Polar. It looks like they will just continue pushing down in the bottom lane with FNG lingering by. Is now level 7, so Mystic Flare online, hoping to find some kills.
Dire's middle tower taking damage. Radiant's
Been
bottom
spotted out
tower
yet.
under fire.
Blink, and he's making his way towards mid lane. S4 blinks towards him though, and he's getting caught out by a blink. Oh, where's the fall damage? Is the Mystic Flare, and S4 gonna get chopped. Off with your head.
And on the bottom lane, Puppy overgrowth to try to delay this push as much as he can on the tier 2 tower. It's definitely going down. Living armor won't save it. However, Secret does get that tier 1 in the mid lane. Last hit goes to Lion. All
level
things
6.
considered, great for ASUS.Polar.
Yeah. Kuro does get his Blink Dagger level 6, so he can now offer kind of at least some similar
top
ganking
tower
potential.
is
Doesn't quite
under
match up to what the
siege.
Axe can do, but at least every now and then you'll find a pick off with a finger and be able to use that Blink Impale to start some things off, but does feel very similar to game 1 in that, yeah,
Radiant's
ASUS.Polar
middle
started
tower
off
is
slow
being
and had that
attacked.
kind of 3,000 to 4,000 gold deficit, but right now they are the ones in control, at least for the period that they have this Aegis.
Closing in on the Bloodstone. What's that on the Courier?
Radiant's middle tower
Vitality
is taking
Booster, and yeah,
damage.
there's your Blink Dagger for timing on that. 13 minutes for the Blink Lion. I guess getting that tower kill in the mid lane did.
Radiant's middle tower is
Meanwhile,
no
it's
more
Polar
middle
continuing the
tower for
high-octane
Radiant.
play. Tier 1 tower in the mid falls. Another tower kill to the Troll. Back-to-back tower kills here for... That'll really
Just
help this
going
Drow
from tower
Ranger.
to tower and stealing the Radiant Ancient stack now, so getting some good farm coming his way.
Yeah, Techies still pushing up top. Zai now level 8. Yule's about complete. Gonna have to come back to help defend pretty soon here, though. He does have the remote mines.
This is
Not
where,
deployed.
Visage already was up. Like, Illidan, he's not got the Aegis beat, still kept alive, but now there's an axe blink for the second. He's just waiting to lose the damage. He goes in, catches a down goes your storm. The overgrowth comes too late. S4's blink forward. He's already thrown the Sonic Wave though, and now he doesn't actually finish off Illidan. Illidan's juking around the trees, needs another scream, will catch him. 1-for-1 trade, and S4 blinks forward, looking for a second one. Looks like he will be able to bring down Lil. The familiar's not opening up support. G, as well as Sadoy.
The landmine's actually doing a lot of work here. Did a fair bit of damage. They bring down the Aegis. Now they might kill him once more. It started disastrous for Secret with Arteezy going down, but now they'll chase G into oblivion. The dagger, only level 1, but a slow nonetheless, coming out from the Queen of Pain. They'll chase him into the tier 2. S4 maybe needs to be a little careful, but Yule's from Zai. They'll put down a remote mine. Almost enough damage, but they can't quite get it. Now S4 calls under the tower. A slam dunk. The Quap gets decapitated again. And Secret end up overextending.
They had the kill on the Troll with the Scream, but he used the Scream during the Yules. I think Zai made the right play, throwing him up in the air to set up the landmine, but S4 just needed to... I mean, the communication just wasn't there. If S4 knew that Yules was coming, he would have waited to use the Scream until he landed. So
who came out ahead in that fight? I think it's ASUS.Polar. They were,
I would say
pretty even.
But for me, it's like Secret holding on when ASUS.Polar are 5-manning with Aegis. The fact you can hold onto your towers and break through the Aegis is always a slight win in itself, even if like the gold exchange is kind of even. It's just it hurts ASUS.Polar's timings. Their timing was with the Aegis, 5-manning, taking down towers, and Secret hold on and survive it.
That's true, though. ASUS.Polar, they don't really have bad late game with
Not at all, yeah.
Drow, Axe, even the Visage. A lot of scalability on this. So even though now is a time when they're hot, if they have to sit back and be a little more quiet in the mid game, that's necessarily a bad option. Illidan has really recovered pretty nicely. Still at the tail end of the pack of cores, but that tower gold really helping out this Drow Ranger, who at least now has a Helm of the Dominator, which means she can farm in the jungle pretty effectively.
So, the ASUS.Polar, they're just looking to tank up on some of these heroes, and yeah, that's the main problem for the Drow Ranger in that fight there, that just not having the extra bit of stats time, like even like a Sanjin Yasha or something is one of those nice items which gives you a movement speed, attack speed, and even that extra bit of HP which you need.
Yep. Landmines now getting cleared out. The gem on the Visage doing a lot of work already. Picked up nice and early by FNG, similar to what we saw last game. Secret, though, they do some landmines, and they won't take that. It will not stand. Sonic Wave just hits on FNG, but now Arteezy comes to the pin. Bloodstone not quite completed yet. Victor brings down the Drow Ranger. Instant buyback from Illidan. Already lost his Skyrack Wave to the rest of his team. They're a lot of trouble. Lil taking some damage, but Arteezy gets slam dunked. Visage still falls to S4. Now he'll just try to move around the trees, make some space for himself. He will have a Scream, the living armor, keeping him alive and rather healthy. G getting low on HP, but it's Zai who maybe forced him to a suicide. Yules now the mana for the suicide. Easy dunk for the axe, and a double kill for Sadoy. A very chaotic fight, but this go around, it is Secret, I think, that finds the better of it. A 2 for 3 with the buyback on the Drow Ranger. Puppy hiding in the trees. Sadoy had to guess one way or another, and this time he will miss.
Recovered by the Radiant side, I believe. Yeah,
yes, S4 has it. Oh, that's the big victory there.
That helps out your team a lot moving forward. Techies is going to...
And S4 gets his Orchid off that fight also. Yep. So even if the gold exchange, maybe even favoring ASUS.Polar a little bit, because I think, did they end a streak thing? Nah, they may have, but they get some core items off that. I think Arteezy has his Bloodstone also, and he completed it after that fight, so didn't even lose the initial charges, still sitting at 8. Another victory, a minor victory for Secret. G did live on the Troll. That'll get him very close to his S and Y. Actually has enough gold for it already. So the Troll is still the king of the castle in terms of network.
May even look to just pick up a BKB to help out in these fights with the Lion, the Orchid,
right. Yeah,
and Overgrowth. I think the BKB is, it's going to help. But next Roshan, ASUS.Polar are going to be looking to secure that and then make a move towards some of these more well, even the tier 1 tower still standing at top. It doesn't feel like they're getting objectives like too easily. Every time Secret's there with a fight, and the fights are going kind of 50-50-ish, so Secret at least can drag things out. But we do have to kind of worry a bit about the Secret late game, not having that true late game carry. The Queen of Pain and the Storm both kind of intel-based carries that can both go great into the late game, but the rest of the lineup offers very little.
The big problem for ASUS.Polar, though, is curing Roche without a gem. Hold that thought, though, as Kuro walks into the wrong place at the wrong time. Gets initiated on the living armor, gives him a little bit of a buffer. At least enough time for the cores to get there. Arteezy and S4 doing as much damage as they can. They bring down the Skywrath, but it will cost S4 his life. Not sure what happened to the gem, but now Arteezy and Zai will go down. A 1 for 4, and Puppey will be on the run. Pretty sure that gem has been recovered by someone.
It's back at the Radiant base. They didn't
they left it. Okay, so the gem's still sitting at base. Yeah. That's good news. But a 1 for 4, well, great news for ASUS.Polar. 2,400 net worth change.
That was almost big. S4 blinked in with a scream, and if his Sonic Wave was 2 seconds away from being ready, and if he'd had it, he could have dropped it down onto that big impale of Kuro's and done a lot of damage, got some kills, but he got gusted, and then he got burst down. S4's going to see that fight and be like, okay, I need a BKB of my own. There's too much silence and too much kind of lockdown to deal with.
There's a sentry ward, so they will be able to see the mines in Roche.
Okay, you can see what's happening.
Roche will be coming up here in just about a second's time, so ASUS.Polar will be in a good spot, but Secret will have respawned just in the nick of time to make a move towards Roche, and of course, they don't have the vision. That's the big problem here. You look at Radiant Vision, they've got a ward on the high ground here, so they'll see some heroes lingering around. They see Illidan making a movement that way. They'll be pinged out. There's your BKB on the Troll Warlord, though. A huge item pickup, and Radiant's Courier just suicides into a double damage Joe Ranger. Not sure what that was all about.
Yeah, it's a miss micro. It was even in that area.
Yeah.
It had actually, it was maybe trying to recover the. Did it drop the gem?
It had 900.
I think that was the gem.
Oh, yes, it did. It just fed them back the gem.
I think it was just trying to like send across the map to try to recover a gem, and then
it
has. Actually, no, that was the gem they'd left at the Radiant base. Yeah, they had that at the Radiant base.
Yeah, that was the gem that after that fight it was just hanging out. That was weird.
I'm scratching my head. I'm not sure what.
I don't know what happened. Maybe a misclick. Well, obviously a misclick. There's no way that was intentional. Unless that is Secret's way of April Fools. Here you go. Have your gem back. We're still going to win. That could be the ultimate in, like, cocky posturing. I don't know. Chalk it up to question marks. So, how are we looking overall? ASUS.Polar finally pulling into the lead. First time this game, only by about 1,000 net worth, but still in good shape on that front. About 6,000 experience is their favor there. But still relatively even. Only on 6 Bloodstone charges now. Too much item progression since we last checked in. What's the Dro working on? Probably a BKB for her. Ogre Club with 2,800 gold. Go with her Aegis.
Think up, stay alive as much as possible. That's been the big problem for Illidan. Every fight he's just getting... That last fight where he bought back, it was more than anything just to give his team the aura. That's a lot of bonus damage. Give the Visage Familiars the aura that you can self-cast. So he just bought back, popped the ulti, popped the precision aura, and then gave that extra damage to his team.
Radiant's top tower is
walks over a remote mine there. That'll get him low.
Dire's middle tower is being
Power of the
attacked.
Techies.
Do thrill the bat, considering that there was a gem to get rid of that if he just waited up for his team.
Radiant's top tower
That's
is
the
being
thing.
attacked.
Like, there are ways to counter
Dire's
Techies, of
middle
course,
tower
but you
taking
really
damage.
have to just think about it perfectly and always think, okay, what unit is out in
Radiant's
front? Do we
top
have
tower
protection? Is
is
this
under
area
siege.
safe? And just a
Dire's
completely different
bottom tower,
mindset
Radiant's
than
top tower is
any
fallen.
Dota player, not even pro, are used to. There isn't a Techies in the game.
Dire's
Aggressive
bottom
with his
tower under
enemy
fire.
jungle, but he's been spotted out by a Dire Ward, so they kind of know that what he's up to. It looked like he was trying to go for a Curious
Radiant's
Knight.
top tower is being attacked.
Go Skyrath with his silence. S4
Dire's
silence up. There's a
bottom
blink
tower
call
is
falling up
being
his
attacked.
silence. And you have the damage. You betcha. Catch him out.
Radiant has
Meanwhile, in the
lost
top
their
lane, that's a tier 2 tower down. Dro
Dire's
Visage will
bottom
strike
tower
again.
under fire.
That baby falls. Tier 2 in the bottom lane. Arteezy wants to finish it off. He'll get it. Lingers around a bit too long, though. Berserker's Call is there. Can they get him in the threshold? Oh, yeah, baby. It's another one. 2 cores on Secret dead. And meanwhile, in the top lane, Dro Visage still going at it. TP back from the Lion. Nice blink from Kuro to catch him off guard. Zai coming in as well, but now the familiars start going to work. He will Yules himself. But Zai still in a lot of trouble, getting stunned up, manages to get off the suicide. No additional damage done. And now this tier 3 tower will be under assault. Living armor comes out.
Doesn't
Even
look
if
like
they
they'll be able to get it now.
back up here, still a lot of damage done by this duo.
Yeah,
The power that drove Visage, man, making itself known.
They can heal it up with the living armor, which is going to be kind of pesky here. And they make the smart decision to back off. Storm about to respawn, got a lot of catch potential, and the ASUS.Polar's troll were kind of too far away to offer any support.
Those are two big kills for ASUS.Polar to grab, though. Now Techies down to only 4 Bloodstone charges, and S4 seems like he just hasn't done anything since this got picked up. He's been looking for pickoffs, but ASUS.Polar just not giving him any openings. None of the stragglers have been in forward position. Now Zai, speaking of forward position, caught by the Berserker's call. Yules right into a decapitation. They don't even need it. Troll just gives him the axes. Side still on cooldown.
5-man timing. Gage is still up. He haven't got the BKB out on the axe. He's got the money for it, but he'll just need to free up the courier and get it out. So it doesn't look like he'll have it for this push here. Even without this, there's a lot of pushing potential.
Mine, the only one down, does some damage to the creep wave. Now the living armor gets chewed through, and just work on this tower. Nice stun on 3 from the Lion, but at what cost? Berserker's call be off the mark, but the dunk is not. Once a dead Lion, it's starting to feel like ASUS.Polar might be able to take game number 2 here. Make the opening of this series a little more interesting. In the bottom lane, there is a bit of split push happening from S4. Just pushing prowess, certainly limited relative to the 5-man here of ASUS.Polar.
They're going to go with the overgrowth here, but this is just kind of delayed for the push bottom lane. They lose Tree Protector, and they can just swing top. They can just go for the double Rax here. They don't even really need to TP anyone back bottom just yet. They can maybe TP one hero.
It's not like S4 is really pushing that. Yeah, he's got this tower down to about half health. They will back up. I think it's a smart play from S4 to put some pressure on like that, but this is getting scary for Secret, quickly falling further and further behind. Now 7,500 net worth and about 12k XP is crazy.
Very cautious play, not going for the second lane of Rax, which I think they could have forced out. No Treant ulti, and Treant was just flat out dead. That would have forced the Queen of Pain to TP, but deciding to play things cautiously. Get their next. They've got a few big items coming up, and
Odin almost dies there to Techie Mines. Close call, buddy.
Really seeing the potential of the Techies pick here. I mean, the second time Secret picked this, I'm being like a little underwhelmed, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's been a little bit better this go-around. Zai's had a pretty decent impact, but unfortunately, it feels like they have bigger problems than just the Techies. S4 just, with an Orchid, he needed to get more momentum than this. ASUS.Polar did a really good job not giving him any openings, and now his farm is kind of crippled. Him and Storm both will go for BKBs. Looks like this is just a BKB game on both sides of it. 3 on the Dire side now, and 1 on the Radiant with another right on the horizon. A lot of pressure on Arteezy and S4 to do some big damage in these fights.
Like, you've gone for these BKBs, but these are not items which will help you scale great into the late game when you're playing a Storm Queen of Pain. So, Polar side of things, they've got much better late game here. Control the Jar Ranger, Visage as a core hero. Look really close to this Techies. Doesn't actually pop it.
Zai just mining up these little access points, almost hoping that they walk this way.
Puppies look pretty dead.
And they want to cut down this tree. He's on the run. Berserker's call. And yeah, living armor not going to save you from that. Polar now with backdoor protection broken, just move right into the Radiant base. They get a ward down, and this tier 3 tower up top will be under assault.
Even but he's just kind of trapped off, locked off from his own base.
Here we go, Arteezy, BKB, zips around the fight, buys back, tries to come in with the overthrow, but can't even get it. Instantly disabled and decapitated. Now Zai gets brought down. Kuroki's also died. It's just the cores left alive, but Arteezy out of mana, out of life. That's it. The GG's called. A quick game 2 goes the way of ASUS.Polar. Happy, I was going to say happy 4th of July. Happy April Fool's Day from Team Secret. A game 2 Techies in a best of 5 finals. Did not work out.
I guess the good news is it's a best of 5. Well, it's now become a best of 3. It's clean slate now.
Yep, clean slate. Next team to take 2 wins will be moving on to the summit. It's just land finals from here, so very exciting. A fun game. Unfortunate for Secret that it didn't work out, but you got to give them some cred for trying the Techies, and you know there's something to be said for that fan service.